What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Be the Trader. Today, I have a very special guest, someone I reached out to a long time ago, and he put a challenge up for me. He said, when you can get to 100 episodes, I'm ready to come on board. And guess what? We've already reached that number. So Bao, aka Modern Rock, one of the founders of My Investing Club, is here on the show today to pretty much just share with us how things have been going for him. So thank you so much for being here, my friend.
Yeah, man, congrats on the 100. I didn't think you'll get there so quickly. I was the 100 for the chat with traders, and those guys took a while. Man, you really ramped it up, man. So good job. Congratulations on your podcast hitting 100.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that. I appreciate you being here, man. And let's get started. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people are probably curious. I mean, they already know who you are. And if they don't know who Bao is or Modern Rock, he's been interviewed before by multiple shows. And
I've actually shied away from most interviews. I've given maybe one or two in my lifetime, actually. So, Alex, good job. That's because you guys actually reviewed us like a year ago, and you did such a great job, honest job, And so I was like, you know what? I promised to be on this show now with you guys. So
thanks, man. I appreciate that.
Yeah, because I don't do these things. I really kind of shy away from them because they're all the same, man. People talk about how trading is easy and all that. I just didn't want to talk about lifestyle and all that stuff. So, but for you, man, anything you want to know, let's get started.
Well, let's get started. So let's start off by just talking about how things been going for you lately. And is there anything that you personally feel like is challenging for you at your level today?
So I just actually literally recovered from COVID. So I had COVID for the past 2 to 3 weeks, man. It was pretty brutal. I won't get into that much here. Let me just say that it's real. I'm not here to talk about politics and reopening the economy, whatever it is. It's freaking real. If you get it, it feels like crap. I've never had this much pain in my life. For 2 weeks, I thought I was going to freaking end up in the hospital, but I recovered, thankfully. So all the hype surrounding the COVID. So let me talk about COVID really quickly in terms of trading.
Mm-hmm.
The markets were actually very slow up until COVID hit, and back in February. Then they shut down everything, and then the markets started to explode. So as you can see, man, that's how the trading world works. You never know when the next catalyst is going to happen. An example would be marijuana, the .com, all these things. You're sitting around, and all of a sudden, boom, it happens. And so that's how trading is, man. Trading is basically every year we don't really know what's going on. It could be gold moving, energy moving, oil moving, electric vehicles. So you always got to stay on your toes, man. Okay, go ahead.
Absolutely. And so how are things like lately since you got over COVID? And by the way, it's crazy that you had that. But getting over that since this year, do you feel like have you felt like you've faced any unique challenges in your own personal trading in terms of like trying to get better or anything you want to improve on?
So I'm going to tell you like it is, like I usually do. I've actually underestimated how big this COVID in terms of the stock market would hit. And so so this year I was actually very timid in terms of sizing up or taking an advantage like some of these guys. Some of these guys are just going crazy. They're going all in everything, and the market's been supported by the Feds for the elections, obviously, right? So the market's not going down, dude, until the elections are over. So I don't want to talk about politics once again, but if you think about it logically, COVID shut down the economy in the whole entire world for half a year, dude. No one's buying anything. No one's buying no one's traveling. Why is the stock market at all-time highs? It's a fucking scam. It's unbelievably, it's the biggest scam. But at the same time, so I didn't take advantage of that situation. I didn't lose money, but at the same time, I didn't make millions of dollars like some of these guys by going all in on Carnival Cruise, American Airlines, things like that, because I didn't believe that the markets would stay up, just like everybody else. But just because I don't believe that doesn't mean I'm going to short the crap out of it, because I understand how politics works. And so if you think about it, man, something's really weird. It proves that the markets are rigged. And the fact that the markets are rigged, we can win. And that's how we're able to make money. Okay, if the markets were totally random and stuff, there's no way you make money. That's how Forex is. Forex is completely random. A bunch of big banks controlling the currencies and that. The only people making money off Forex, I'm going to get it over with, are the people pumping these fucking Forex brokers, and they get 33% or what the hell the commissions they get. So guys, stay away from Forex. It's a scam. The market's already a scam, but at least it's a scam that you can make money on.
Hey guys, I just want to take a moment to share with you some awesome news. I just started a newsletter, and you're probably like, what's so awesome about that? Well, it's not your typical newsletter, because I'm going to give back to you, the people who subscribe to the newsletter. Number one, you will be getting updates on my YouTube exclusive videos, the podcast episodes, and articles and blogs all about trading. But how is it different? I'm going to give back to you guys. I'm going to select randomly different subscribers who are in the newsletter and give them either the opportunity to have a one-on-one call with me. Maybe I'll give them a free trading book, one of my favorite trading books, just to name one, Trading in the Zone. And also, and not only, because there's many, many more ideas that we're going to be doing and implementing. But another idea is maybe win the Billions box set. This popular show on Showtime, Billions. If you don't know about it, definitely look it up, because it should be everyone's favorite show if you're a trader. At least it's one of my favorites. So I want to give back to you guys, because you guys mean a lot to me. And I just don't want to only provide content, but I want to say thank you, right? And I provide content by saying thank you, but I also want to say thank you by giving back. So thank you guys, and you guys take care. And so you're saying like one of your biggest things you need to work, or you wish you would have done or worked on, is sizing in more whenever this.
I should have taken advantage of the situation where, I thought these stocks were not going to bounce. I underestimated the fucking scamming Feds and all that, and they bounced the markets right up, and they killed all the short sellers. And so, but I didn't lose money, but I didn't make the millions and millions of dollars some of these guys made by going all in. And so I just didn't think it was time. I thought we would have more of a time, because I came from an old school where the Feds didn't step in and start buying everything out, right? So the .com, the financial crisis, all those took years to recover. It usually stocks do this. They tank, and then they find a little consolidation, then they take again. You never want to buy the first dip. In this case, though, the first dip was so big. It was like 2,000 point market tank, and then boom, ripped right back up. It was just like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I know.
So I'm just sitting there like, what the fuck? I just completely missed the fucking move. Yeah. And so that was one thing this year. I was like, dude, this year completely changed in terms of realizing how fixed, how corrupt these markets are. They're buying trillions of dollars of bonds of Apple, making Amazon guys rich. The billionaires are becoming ultra rich because of the Fed money market, policies and stuff. But once again, I'm not talking about politics. I'm just talking about the fact that you see this in the markets all the time. Right. Gives you kind of like, so you learn on how to trade. It doesn't matter what the fuck you think. That's the one thing I realized a long time ago. What I think doesn't really matter. It's the big money that moves it. And so price action takes dominance. I can sit here and say, how the hell does the stock market at all-time highs if the economy's been shut down for half a year, which makes sense. But, that's how people go broke. They short the crap out of it because they think they know better. But you know what, man? Ride with the big money. Price action takes dominance. Of course, fundamentals takes over, but only after the price drops or goes up, okay? And then you can basically figure out, okay, have a hindsight reason for why things are up and down. So right now I'm looking back, it's obviously hindsight. The Fed is buying all this, bonds and stuff. So that was my mistake this year. My mistake this year was not capitalizing on it. And in a way, I think so getting back to your question, this year I've actually focused more on helping the members at MIC. For me, trading, I've been trading for so long, dude. Me making a little more money doesn't really excite me. That's not like the main reason I wake up in the morning anymore. I wake up because I know I'm seeing members actually learning. They're making money. I'm helping them, and they're having an aha moment. And you've been in the chat room. It's basically like, it makes me feel fucking good, man, when people are learning. And so that to me has been my focus for the past year. I still trade. I trade. I still love trading, but it's not one of those things where I'm loading up millions of dollars of stock anymore. I've gone through that. Maybe I'll get back into next year. But for right now, I just don't have the motivation to start swinging like millions of dollars of stock like I used to. I've been there, done that. I can get back to it again. But, this year I'm just kind of waiting right now. And the markets right now are just kind of like to me, I don't want to. I'm at a point in my life where I made enough where I'm not going to risk everything. There's a saying that I made popular. You only need to get rich once. So when you get rich, man, you put that fucking money away. Okay, all these guys are like, oh, I made money, then lost all my money, made my money back. I don't want to be that guy, dude. Right? And that's why you only need to get rich once. You don't want to be a fucking guy that, oh, I lost my money 5 times. And that's where risk management comes in. You know, I put enough money away where, you know, even if I lose all my money in my accounts right now, it doesn't really matter. You know, I don't have all my fucking money in there. So, and then, you know, these guys are making millions of dollars. Congratulations. I'm hating on anybody. I've been there. I've done that. But for right now, educating people is just giving me a reason to wake up in the morning.
Well, let's talk about a couple of things. You mentioned price action is important. And one thing that I've noticed with you, and a lot of people probably notice about you, is you trust your lines and you like to, like, you know, it seems like you just place orders out there to get, you know, fishing orders, right? You fish your orders out there, put them out there, and they get hit, and then they take it.
Yeah,
how'd you get to the level, real quick, how'd you get to the level where you started to just be okay with just orders getting taken, and then just the idea of just only putting orders out there without the fear or without the worry that every once in a while we'll get that black swan like SPI, OXBR, and like you're risking that line, but it just shoots right past? Like, how do you?
Correct. Well, the thing is, like, those situations where black swans like SPI happen, they happen more frequently than you think, man. This week alone has been like a few black swans, right? So when I'm walking around that pond every day exercising, I see black swans everywhere, dude. And so you can't not get away from stuff like that. But what we do is we have a certain parameter list. We call it trading rules that help you determine, not to get stuck in those type of situations, like low floaters, certain times of the day. And when I'm putting those orders out, I'm not putting out size, by the way. Those are just, I call them fantasy orders. And then they are basically, it's kind of like an alert for me, but when it hits, I usually make money off of it. And when it blows way past that area, risk management comes in. That's it. I mean, I'm not in the position large enough to lose any significant amount of money. So what I do is I put my orders out there, and then when they hit, I go and I examine to put more orders or to cover or to take profits or whatever I need to do. And that builds up with confidence and trust in your system. I've been doing this thing so long, dude. When I started trading, I've tried every single indicator. I thought the holy grail. I'm gonna pay some guy and figure out all this crap. And then, I've tried everything you can imagine. Moving averages, Fibonacci, all this stuff. It's like, when it comes down to it, man, I call it KISS. Keep it simple, stupid. And so it just comes back to the lines, man. Resistance, support, and pivot lines. And when we started MIC, people used to laugh at me. And like, well, you know what? You charging people to learn to draw lines? And now you notice everybody got rid of their Bollinger Band, got rid of their Fibonacci. I don't see fucking moving averages on anybody's charts anymore. It's all fucking lines. Every motherfucker is using the lines that they used to make fun of me, dude. And even the famous chat room guys that have 5,000, 10,000 fucking streamers, they're talking about all the same fucking shit we're talking about. The zombie rule, 1030 rule. They used to use fucking doji candles and moving averages and all this bullshit. It's like, fuck. So now I see them just draw a bunch of fucking lines, and stocks move from line to line. And, you don't see people make fun of lines anymore because they're all using it. So I've been using this thing for so long so let me tell you a little funny tidbit about lines. Okay. One of the lines that I've used that not many people know about back in the day, it's called a pivot line. And to be honest, I didn't even know what the hell a pivot line was. It came by accident. I opened up my Realtic platform and it had lines drawn in. And I'm like, what the fuck are these lines? So this is like a long time ago, decades ago, right? I didn't know what the hell they are. I found out they were pivot lines. And I call them magical, invisible lines. It's like no one even used them for the longest time. They work great for large caps and stuff, but also a lot of small caps, they use it. And so that's what we started teaching as well. And pivot lines, man, I'm giving out the secret right now. That's an invisible line that no one knows. And a funny story on how I came upon using lines versus candlestick is when I opened up my trading platform, lines were defaulted. And they were fucking defaulted. I think line chart was default to all my fucking screen, and I never used candlesticks. To me, candlesticks just seem weird as hell. I just fucking use my lines, and so I've been so used to using the lines and doing it the way I've been doing that. I guess I started to teach a different way to do it, because lines you can actually see a lot more clearly. Once again, guys, okay, if it works for you, it works for you. It doesn't work for you, it doesn't work for you. So everybody's different. My way is not the best way, okay? I just think my way is the most simplified way to teach someone. And I've proven that by teaching a bunch of people become millionaires. We've taught MIC, everyone's using it now. And so, I mean, it just makes trading much simpler, okay? Once again, you don't have to use that. You start that and you start adding your own. The whole point about trading is, you know what, you cut the learning curve by getting mentored. So you know what works and what doesn't. Fuck this Bollinger Band bullshit, right? So stuff like that. You could be down a rabbit hole for a year on Bollinger Band. I'm just making it up, right, guys? You could be down a year and go, what the fuck? I can't make money off this shit. And so that's where mentorship comes in. So you're paying like $200 a month. Why the hell is this for MIC? I mean, that's basically to save you a year of not having to use Bollinger Bands. I'm just giving that example, right? Yeah. And so the way that I've trusted is the way that, because it works, man. I've been doing it so long.
Well, what about the smaller accounts out there? Because there's a lot of small accounts. I'm sure you have small accounts in your memberships too, where, you know, with your trading style, you're in and out, and a lot of traders can't do that who have under 25K. So what is your suggestion for those traders when you're trying to teach them?
I do what I coined the term recycling. I recycle my shares. So I'm in and out. So basically, if I have 1,000 shares, I'll trade 500 shares of it right back in and out with the 500 and hold the core. It's called trading around a core, recycling. And so that is like a little more advanced thing that we teach. And that requires you to be over pattern day trader, because you go in and out. But if you're under, the lines work great. We call that line to line. And so there's a bunch of lines. You have to determine which ones which ones work best, the inner lines, the middle lines, or the outer lines, right? So we have those kind of concepts of outer lines and inner lines. And the lines work great actually for a guy under PDT. That's because, the lines tell you where to enter and they tell you where to exit. So no other system I've seen around tells you exactly where to buy and where to sell. I mean, from the simplistic point of view is, you enter, if you want to short, I'll give you an example. You want to short, you short at the outer resistant line, okay? And then when you want to cover, you choose which line down below that you think the stock will come. And that's based upon the chart actually, okay? And so every stock's going to be different, but knowing where the lines are helps you actually enter and exit. And if you had only one bullet because you have a smaller account, that's the perfect way to trade. I call it line to line. And so that's the most consistent way of trading you can get. It won't make you rich initially, because nothing will. But the point is, it gets you to, it starts you to become consistently profitable. So if you use the line to line method, in my opinion, that is the best, simplest way to become a consistent, profitable trader.
So when it comes to line, you said there's outer, middle, and inner lines. Can you give us an idea? I know you said it's different for every stock. I get that. But I'm curious on how does one who's listening to this and like, man, okay, well, I get lines. And first off, for people who are listening, if you don't know what a line is, pretty much support resistance levels, key areas on the chart that show some type of pivot. Right. But for those areas, how is someone supposed to be like, oh, I should use the outer line rather than the inner line?
So I'll give you a little secret too. So I base a lot of my trading upon the pre-market chart. So I'll give you as an analogy. It's like an explorer. It's like Christopher Columbus, right? When Christopher Columbus came over, he had no clue what America looked like. So he's charting his own fucking path. I don't want to be Christopher Columbus. Those are the guys that die, right? Those are the guys that chart these areas and they end up fucking falling down and getting eaten by an alligator because they didn't know there was a swamp there. I don't want to be that guy. I want to be the second, third guy that comes after him, that the chart has, the roadmap has already been determined. And that's why when I wake up in the morning, sometimes I wake up late on purpose because I don't want to be the guy exploring the pre-market chart. So when I wake up, the pre-market chart has already been predefined for me. I looked at it and it looks like a roadmap. Cool. So I'm navigating my trading ongoing based upon the roadmap of the pre-market. And that's how I determine the outer line. So the outer line is like the high of pre-market, things like that. And so there's a kind of like a rule of thumb where, you know what, man, you can be too exacting, meaning you want to get the ultimate, if you want to short, right, the ultimate high line, outer line,
True.
but it may never come. It may never come. You may be sitting there for weeks and it will never hit. Some of these stocks never bounce back up. And so there is a fine balance between never feeling and feeling too soon. And so that's the art of trading. Okay. Trading, there's technical, which we teach, which is the lines and all that, right? And then there is the art. The art is like a kind of like a feel where, okay, should you basically not wait for the ultimate outer line, or can you hit some early and add and scale, things like that?
Is that feel mainly what you see like while you're watching the stock, like in terms of price action? Is that where the feel comes from?
That feels from experience, and yes, and to kind of have, so a lot of times if you stare at all these stocks charts for a while, they become what's called, I call that pattern recognition. So after a certain time, it's just pattern recognition. I've seen this before. I've seen this before. I've seen this based upon whatever it may be. You may be wrong, obviously, but experience dictates where you're right maybe 70% of the time. And that to me is good. It's not gambling. Gambling is a coin toss, 50-50. So if you can get a 70% feel for it, I would say go for it, trade it.
What's your advice to people in terms of, I'm curious on where you fall. Do you fall more on the side of, I want a high win percentage and I don't care what the risk reward, as long as it's a high win percentage, or I want a high risk reward and I'll take a low risk percentage? Like a low win percentage.
That's a very good question. So there's many different ways to trade. Okay. And to me, it depends on the stock itself. Like if I had a feeling that the stock will go down, I will hold a piece of it. So it's called trading around the core recycling side. But I always take some off. The reason I take some off is because shit happens. I never fucking know. And so by taking gains along the way, it helps cushion the rest of the hold. So let's say your target is 50-cent move.
Mm-hmm. So,
but halfway through, that's the VWAP, which is the support line, right? On the way down, for example. Mm-hmm. So I'd always like to cover at least half, because if I take half, okay, but let's say my goal is 50 cents, right? And so I'm taking 25% off and taking half of that 50-cent move. Now I'm already cushioned for half of 25 cents. If the stock reverses against me, I'll just stop out and still be up. Versus, fuck, I'm going for a home run. When I started trading, man, I always wanted to go for home runs.
Yeah.
I was so pissed off. I was so upset that I left money on the table. But then I realized later on that leaving money on the table means you're making money, dude. I'd rather be making fucking money. Okay. You will reach the point where you may become much better than me, which you will, hopefully. You become much, and then you can have the confidence to hold longer. It's up to you. But the way I teach is that you have to take some money off the table along the way, because that will cushion you for the rest of the hold. I'd rather make 75% than make 100%. Heck, okay. I'd rather make a 50% guaranteed. That's how I trade. So it depends on your personality. Okay. For me, I'd rather walk away every day fucking up 50% versus fucking 100% being double and then being stressed out. Once again, experience. Okay. Meaning, I want to teach you to get to the point where you can choose to hold on the whole piece if you wanted to, because you have a big enough bankroll. But a lot of guys don't have bankrolls. I'd rather them build the bankroll along the way.
So it seems like you're more, for beginners, especially people who have a small bankroll, it's like might be, and let me know if I'm putting words in your mouth. It might be more advantageous to focus on just make at least walking away profitable rather than saying I'm only going to trade when it's like a 3-to-1 risk reward and that's it.
I think you should still always trade when there's like a 2-to-1.
Okay.
But I will still take the money along the way. That's what I meant.
Okay, gotcha.
I'm not going to hold a big position until the end. I've seen people do it, and they're awesome. Congratulations to them. But once again, trading is not a competition between me and anybody else. It's a competition between you and yourself. And you know yourself in terms of your personality. Some people are gamblers. Some people can take, I shake. I'm nervous. I'm glad to take money off the table. I need to take some money off the table, And so for me, it's just scratching an itch.
I love that you said that. I love that you just said that. It's not about you and someone versus someone else. It's about you versus yourself and you need to know your own weaknesses, or at least what you need to do to make yourself comfortable to stay consistent. And
That's absolutely
that's
correct.
huge, man. I love that you said that, because a lot of people, including myself, like as I'm becoming better, as I'm trading, like you start to compare yourself. It's a natural thing. And then you start to do things that you're not normally doing because you want to be like bow, like you want to be like someone else.
Yeah, I want to be this guy that holds from the top, bottom to the top. I think I've done that before, guys. But it's a situational thing, and it depends on your personality at the time too. So now it's like, let's say like you're a kid. When I was young, man, I was fucking banging out millions of dollars a day, right? It doesn't fucking matter to me because I had no family, had nothing to worry about. But when you start getting older, you have family support, things like that, kids or whatever it may be, you may not be able to take those type of risks. And so your trading actually, in my opinion, changes over time. I've become a lot more risk adverse than I used to. I don't trade nearly as big anymore because I don't want to risk it. What if some fucking shit happens?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so your trading will metamorphosize and change as you grow, for the better or for the worse. I don't know what it may be. You see what I'm saying? Some people may say that I became a worse trader. I just think I've just become a little more safe, conservative trader.
Yeah, it's funny because I've talked to a lot of traders, as you know, and on the show and before the show starts, and what I've noticed is a lot of the more advanced traders, like they started out, even though they were successful, they started out more like risky, and then as they became more tenure, they became less risk, like they were risk adverse, and it kind of thinks I want to make the assumption it's like wisdom, like you see it over and over, you've been there over and over, that like why risk it? Like, you can at least take the safe money, it seems like, rather than
it's that's a good point. As you grow and mature, different priorities hit. So I'll give you an example. When I was younger, my whole goal was make money, dude. I don't give a fuck. I never slept. I never took a vacation. All my goal was just to make money, right? I made a shitload of money. Now my goal is actually having more time. So someone told me it's not, after a while, it's not how much you make, it's how much you make in the least amount of time with the least amount of stress.
Yes.
When I was young, I was living stress. I loved it. I welcomed stress. I was 20 something years old, 30 years old, young kid, 20 something. I was like, dude, I don't give a fuck. I'm just here to make money. Yeah. I don't care if I lose all my fucking hair during this process, right? And fucking be alcoholic, which I became an alcoholic because I was so stressed out, right? But I was joking about that, but maybe. But nowadays I'm just fucking like relaxed, like Alex, right? And so I've mentored Alex to a point where, that's the way I would like to trade for myself. And so I've been mentoring people like Alex. So he wakes up in the morning, he does his due diligence, research in the pre-market, and then only trades the first hour. Ends up $1 million this year already. That's the way to do it. It's you know what, man, that's a great money. Of course, can he make more? Absolutely. Can he lose money too? Yes, he can. But the point is this: he's trading an hour a day at the market open and making $1 million
with least amount of stress.
With the least, so that is the whole new concept. When I get more mature, and I want more time, dude. I don't want to fucking sit there and worry to hold. I used to hold overnight positions every day. When back in the day, I had big positions. I'm sweating. I couldn't sleep, dude. I'd be sitting there refreshing until 8 p.m. at night every fucking time. Because I loved it. I was like an adrenaline junkie and stuff. But now I was like, dude, I can't do it anymore. And so I may make a significantly amount less than I used to, but it's still okay to me. Yeah, it's making. I mean, how much is enough? So if you let me pull up what I kind of made famous just to reiterate to people that $200 a day, guys. There's 252 trading days a year. $200 a day is $50,000 a year.
Yep.
That's all you fucking need to change your life. I'm not telling anybody to quit their job. Supplement your income is just $200 a day. You know what $1 million a year is? You'd be very surprised. It's only $4,000 a day. That's it. People think to make $1 million, you're swinging up and down 20, 30, 50 grand a day. That's not true. You just consistently need to make $4,000 a day. You make $1,000 a day. That's $250,000. That's a very realistic small number. If you see someone So back in the day, people used to laugh at me. I remember I used to post P&Ls every fucking day, and it started very small, then it grew up to big numbers. But then people were laughing, "Oh, you'll make 1,000 a day, 4,000 a day, 4,000 a day, 3,000." But that's $1 million a year, if you think about it, you know. And so that's the thing people don't understand. So I look at that every day, and I suggest everybody look at that to kind of ground themselves to because the key is, once again, it's consistency with risk management. Okay, that's the key that people don't talk about. Risk management is the key to success.
So dive into that a little bit more on risk management, because I'm just curious I don't want to lead it with any. I don't want to put words out there. So you tell me, like, when you think of risk management, what do you think?
When I was young, man, I had a friend. So I was an engineer, so I was very conservative. I was just making my $300 a day, then became $500 a day, then $1,000, then $3,000. You know, I progressively did that. And I was very, very consistent. I just made my money. Some would say I was a pussy. I should have sized up when when it was the opportunity, but I didn't. I was very consistent, and I was just happy doing that. Until one day, one of my friends, he started swinging $10,000, $50,000 a day up and down. I'm like, what the fuck? You know, of course he didn't tell me when he loses, but he always talks about when he wins, right? And then, so this guy was like looking at my P&L and laughing at me with $3,000, right? Whereas he's swinging like $50,000 up and down, right? And then at the end of the year, he's fucking blown it all. You know, it's. Then I realized, holy fuck, dude, the secret is not these wild swings. You know, it looks pretty on paper. Oh, I'm up $100,000. Oh, I'm down $100,000. You know, I made it back. I'm like, you don't want fucking that shit, man. You don't want that stress. And so at the end of the year, every year, I was still up more than him, even though he's showing these $50,000 P&Ls. But then he turns around and loses $100,000. And so at the end of the day, if you look at that chart, $4,000 a day is $1 million a year. $200 a day is $50,000 a year. Okay, so what he did for me was this, though. I looked at him like, this motherfucker's stupid. If he's able to still make $50,000 a day, what the fuck? Why am I so chicken? Why am I fucking? So I thank him. Okay, this was my old friend. He's a big time gambler now. I think he's driving an Uber. Unfortunately, I'm not joking. He is.
Oh, man.
Grew up with that. And that's because when you're losing 50,000, 100,000, it's not sustainable. It's not sustainable.
I like what you said there, though, because what's really big there that hopefully people, if you didn't pick this up, you need to rewind and listen. But Bal's, first off, how many years of experience do you have, Bal?
Jeez, I was trading full time for over maybe 12, 15 years.
Okay, so
longer than that before, but yeah.
Right, so he's been doing at least full time over a decade, and he's been trading before that while he was working, and he started out making consistently gains. Now, and he was starting out small and continuing to grow it, and all he was focused on at that time while he was growing is just consistency, not trying to swing. Correct. Not trying to swing for the fences. I need to hear that. Like, not trying to swing to the fences, not trying to just make gains, like big gains every day, but just make gains consistently.
So I've done that for 3-5 years. But then so when I look back, I was like, fuck, I was such a pussy. So he helped me. Once again, he helped me. So I stepped up my game, dude. I grew some balls and started sizing up. Because, you know, you get into this complacency where it's like, it was so easy for me to make money, right? It's like the same amount of money. You know, I didn't risk much because I had a job too. You know what I'm saying? And so he helped me where he goes, you know what, man, if this guy can step it up, I should step up my game. So, but when you step up, you don't just size across the board. You wait for the opportunity to size up. And that's how I got those crazy ass P&L days. When the opportunity was right, I stepped it up. But that only can happen if you have the bankroll. Okay, so these people, like, I mean, what the fuck? You're risking your whole account? No, dude, I was risking very little amount of account. To be honest, it was like I was trading like with many millions of dollars, and so making $1 million was only like 25% of my account, right? It's not like these guys are going all in on options and shit. So, you know, you level up, I call it. And what helped me was the fact that I had the bankroll and I did it right. I leveled up the correct way. And that's what I was trying to end. So what I was trying to end with is basically, you're listening to someone who has a lot of experience, who's made the big P&Ls, who's also decided to be more risk adverse now, but he's also showing the full story of like, man, you can make it by just being consistent daily and keeping your losses small, because that risk management, that story that you just shared just shows
that if you're swinging big P&Ls, then you could swing yourself right out the door into an Uber. You know, like you don't want to do that. And so you got to make sure that you stay
If you
focused.
think about it this way, if you lose $10,000, you must make it back first before you start making money.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. That sucks.
So you fucking lose 10. You know, you work every day, make your $500, and then you decide to be an idiot and do the cushion game. So that's the thing I keep advising people against. Okay, so I just did an IG live today where I talked about this is why you should always reset your account, guys. It's because of this cushion game. So let's say I'll just make it up, right? Let's say I have $40,000 in my account, trading with 40,000, and now I've made 10,000, so I'm up at 50,000, right? And so what happens is this: if you don't need more than 40 grand, take the 10,000 off. Because what happens is this: when you take the $10,000 off, it goes in your pocket, okay? And now you're not trading with house money anymore. The problem people have is I'm trading with house money. So what the fuck that mean? It means that you can be a dumbass and gamble and be loose and undisciplined. That's what fucking happens. I'm up, man. I'm trading with free house money. Fuck, that's your money, dumbass. It's not house money. That's your fucking money. And so if you see $10,000 of house money, what are you gonna do? You're gonna fucking start gambling? But that's why I tell people periodically, regularly, take your money out. So it's like a paycheck. So now I'm not, there's no more house money. That's my money.
Yeah.
I'm back to my original 40,000. So if people start doing that, in my opinion, it will prevent lots of blowups. Because the blowups come happen when you have this house money cushion. And then that cushion goes away. And now you're red and you're using your real money. And that's how you fuck up. Because if you notice the way most people trade, when they start out, they're very tight. They're very disciplined. Yep. They grow their account. And then all of a sudden, along the way, they get arrogant. Something fucking switches in their head. They think they're better than they are. It's the cushion game, right? It's the house money bullshit. And so,
that's a good point.
And by taking the money out, also, it shows you how much $10,000 is. Or it could be 5,000 or 1,000, whatever you may be, right? If you think about it, $5,000 is a shitload of money, man. Yep. If someone gave you $5,000 to go shopping with it, unless you go to Gucci and go to normal Macy's store, you'll never be able to spend $5,000. You know, eating every day, DoorDash is like $200 a day to eat like a king. Yeah. You know, and so you think about $5,000 a lot of money. And so what happens is this: Alex does it great. The other Alex, right? Yeah. He puts $1 bills to show how much $100 is. It's like a stack of this is $100. You know, and so trading is as much of a mental game as it is a technical game. In my opinion, it's even more mental. And so those are the type of things that you need to watch yourself out with. And I call that all part of that as risk management. Man, I love this. So real quick about, I'm just curious real quick. Are you ready for the closing bell round? Let's do it. Let's do it, man. So first question, favorite book that helps you with your own trading? It doesn't have to be an actual trading book. It could be anything. I really don't read books. To me, books are kind of outdated. What I like to do is I just Google a lot of stuff. I look at charts. I go to FinViz. I go to all these places and just start reading. So for me, online reading more than books. Awesome. Is there online reading? Is it mainly just Googling, or is there a certain? I'm a big information geek. Meaning, like if I don't know something, I'll Google it, Wikipedia it, and so I'm a king of useless trivia. Like Jeff P. All right, cool. And then, what's your best trading memory? My best trading memory, obviously, is the big Fannie Mae trade. We talk. That's all over the web. It's all over the place. It is all. Just look it up. Yeah, it's all over the web. And then, what's like one aha moment that you've had in your career? The one aha moment was what I told you about risk management. The moment I realized that, holy fuck, it doesn't matter how much I make if I lose back everything on one trade. And so the aha moment came when I realized, fuck, dude, I'm working way too hard, making consistent gains for 20 days, and then cushion fucking shit blowing up the whole account. So that's the aha moment, is to realize that, you know what, man, consistency doesn't mean shit if you fucking have one trade that wipes everything away. Amen. So amen to that. And then if you had to start from a small account, what would you focus on? I would focus on, if I could short, it would be a low-hanging fruit, which we teach continuation breakdown, which is the backside. But if you go long, you know, I call that the first bounce. So basically the low floaters get squeezed in the morning. I would only trade, you know, in the morning when it runs up, and then done. That's it. In and out, boom, done. Make my easy squeeze money. That's it.
Nice, nice. And what's your favorite indicator if you have one?
VWAP is pretty much the only indicator I use.
Awesome. And then finally, what is the best way for anyone to find you, get more information if they have questions about you?
Google Modern Rock, My Investing Club. Those are the two ways on Instagram.
Awesome. Well, look, Modern Rock, aka Bao, I appreciate you being here, my man. It's been a pleasure, and you dropped some good knowledge for us here, so I appreciate it, man.
Thanks, Alex, man. Hopefully, part two will be better. This one was kind of I'm getting over COVID, so that's my excuse.